Hello, welcome to Not Dead Yet's weekly film chat. I'm Dan.
I'm Lee. Hi.
We're just going to have a quick chat about what we've been watching this week. So, Lee, you can kick us off. What have you been watching?
I watched a film that's on Netflix just because there's a iconic actor in it. It's called The Last Showing and it stars Robert Englund.
Oh, Freddy
Krueger.
Mm.
So it's a British film.
Yeah.
And I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
I'm going to use an Americanism to describe a British film. The premise is that Robert Englund is a projectionist at a cinema, but they've gone digital, and he refused to have training because he feels like he's a projectionist. He doesn't need to be taught by a kid how to press a button.
Okay.
So he's all about the art of the film.
Yeah.
And what he does is gets angry about that, and he doesn't massively get explained, but it goes on a bit of a he goes a bit odd. And there's a couple that come in to watch the film, just these two, and he has all the cameras from the cinema lined up, as in like the CCTV,
CCTV, right.
And he kidnaps the girl, locks the doors, and he plays out the film with, basically he creates his film. So basically, the boyfriend is. Like he's like, oh, where's she gone? Basically the girl went to the toilet.
Yeah.
Freddie had poisoned her with a drink. Like, this fizzy pop is off, but do you want to try it? Because I ordered some popcorn.
Right. Yeah.
And then she's like, it tastes a bit funny. No thanks. And he's like, okay. So that's his kind of like a poison.
Okay.
And so she goes to the toilet and collapses. So the boyfriend kind of waiting outside, and then after a while, it's like she's been there a while. Goes in there, she's gone, and then he's looking around the cinema, and the lights go off. And then a lights light up to just the one screen that's open. He goes in, and then the signs come up going, "Welcome to our movie." And then it's like there's a picture of the girlfriend tied up, and basically, if you don't follow my instructions, I'm going to kill her.
Right.
And so it plays out. So basically, it plays out also like, so he's got all these cameras from the actual cinema of the building, following him around as he's had to do certain things to get her. And throughout this, he makes him do certain things, and as an editor, he pieces it together as a film. And so, I mean, it's a good film. It's a really good film. But like he basically plays it out to the police come, because there's been violence, and he's making out if that it's actually the boyfriend that's the baddie.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But does it work? Does it not work? It's a good film, and it's 2014, so it's quite a recent film. Kind of low budget, under the radar, well worth a watch.
Okay.
I think you may like it. It's not horror.
Yeah.
So it's not like gory or anything like that.
Right.
It's more kind
like
of psychological. Yeah, thriller, psychological.
Okay.
And that was really good. I really enjoyed that.
How's Robert Englund in it?
Yeah, good. He's good, understated, creepy.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, he's quite a creepy dude. So.
Yeah, so he's not like, but he's like a sweet old man.
Yeah.
But kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But is he a sweet old man? Or is he creepy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, something I think is worth
Sweepy.
watching. Yeah, it's not like, it's not a mind-blowing film, but it's an enjoyable watch.
Oh, okay.
I would give it like a thumb up.
And is that on Netflix?
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it could be a recent addition. Like,
okay.
It's one of those films like, just, like, I enjoyed it. And even one of the films go, yeah, it's all right. But I don't think necessarily blow you away, but I enjoyed it. But one other thing I've noticed again on Netflix that I saw the picture of it up, but I never watched it. I started watching this week was BoJack Horseman.
Oh, is it good? I've not watched any of it yet. It's Will Arnett's the main character.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Its premise is that BoJack, it's weird, it's cartoon, and there's animals in it that are like walking around like with arms and legs. That's got a horse's head. The main character is a horse.
Yeah.
And like, his girlfriend is a cat, but there are people.
Okay.
As well.
All right.
And then there's like his rival is this annoying dog called Jelly, and he's like a golden retriever.
Is it funny though?
I quite like it. It's quite cynical. He's like everyone annoys him. He's basically a fail. Like he used to be big in the 90s in a sitcom called Horsing Around,
okay,
where it was a horse that raised two human children.
Right. Okay.
And the reason why he hates the dog is because, in his words, the dog did a ridiculous concept. A dog raising 3 children, that's ridiculous.
Right, okay.
It's that sort of thing, and it's how he's failed. And as
I can imagine that would be good for Will Arnett.
Yeah.
He'd be great at
He's great.
Like
He's just like, I hate everyone.
Yeah.
And he gets drunk quite a lot, and then he's just like, he makes a fool of himself. And then his relationship with his girlfriend is his agent.
Yeah.
So they break up. But it's just his agent. She says, "One minute he's a bastard, next minute,
Right, okay.
hey, I've got a great job for you."
Yeah.
And he's starting to like. He basically he's got a ghostwriter to write his biography.
Okay.
To maybe hopefully make him some money.
Okay, right.
It's worth a watch.
It's definitely something that I've thought about watching, but I just haven't got around to yet.
It's quite a deadpan. It's kind of like that British humour where it's just like, you know, kind of like, oh, you're annoying, you know, kind of like Peep Show.
Yeah. Okay.
But I enjoyed that. How about you? What you
well, last weekend when I went to play ping pong with our friend Chris, he'd been to see The Merchant of Venice, which has got Jonathan Pryce as Shylock in it at the moment.
Okay.
And Jonathan Pryce has just popped up in Game of Thrones. So
he's the English actor, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He was in
yeah.
Jumping Jack Flash.
He's in Brazil.
Ah, yes, Brazil.
I love that you went for Jumping Jack Flash.
I know.
That's awesome. I don't think most people have come up with that reference.
Yeah.
Him typing to Whoopi Goldberg for a whole film.
Yep.
Classic.
Classic.
That is a cracker of a film. And Chris said, "Oh well, he'll always be the character in Brazil for me." And I said, "Oh, he's always the guy in Glengarry Glen Ross for me."
Yeah. Okay,
and Chris said, "What's Glengarry Glen Ross?" And I was like, "You haven't seen it?" And he was like, "No." And so I said, "Okay, right. Well, after we play ping pong on Sunday, we're going to watch that." So we sat down and watched that. Glengarry Glen Ross is a film conversion of a David Mamet play.
Right.
And it is about real estate salesmen in the States. Now, the film version has... Let me think about
quite
this.
cast.
It's got quite the cast. It's got Ed Harris, Alan Arkin, Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Kevin Spacey, Alec Baldwin, and Jonathan Pryce.
That's pretty impressive.
And it's an incredible... It's a play, so don't get fooled into thinking it's a film that's going to be lots of quick cuts and stuff like that. This is a play, and it's very dialogue heavy, but that dialogue is incredible.
What sort of year? What year?
Actually, I don't know what year that
early
is.
90s,
Yeah, I would have thought
early
90s. Yeah, I mean, I saw it by accident years ago, and that would have been before 2000, probably on TV. So, but yeah, so I watched that. And then this week, it's 92, Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, that's
check that out. If you can find a copy of it anywhere, get it and watch it, because that thing about ABC always be closing, I think that's where that comes from.
What do you mean?
So ABC is a sales thing, like salesmen say ABC of sales is ABC means always be closing.
Oh, okay.
And I think it comes from that, but Alec Baldwin does that much more justice than I just did. So this week I've also been watching Borgen.
Okay, what's that?
Borgen is one of the Scandinavian dramas.
Right,
it's a Danish drama. It's basically the Danish version of The West Wing.
Okay.
And there's 3 series of it. I watched the first series years ago when it was first on the BBC, and then recommended it to my friends and family, and my sisters watch all of them, and I'm only just getting around to watch the 2nd and 3rd series. So I watched the 2nd series this week. Really, really enjoy it. It's great. Actors are great. There's some very attractive people in it. It's well written. Yeah, really, really good. Really enjoying that. I'm going to hopefully finish the 3rd series over the weekend.
Is that political sort of drama?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's. But that was quite nice timing as well with the general election happening, and there's a lot of talks of coalitions and stuff in this. So yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, really enjoy that. That's well worth checking out to anybody that's interested in those sort of. If you like The West Wing, you're probably going to like this. So it's not. There's no like real kind of like murders or crimes or anything like that. It's about politics and people basically. But
which is quite seedy and interesting in itself.
Yeah, but it doesn't even really do that. It really is just about the politics, basically, about the struggles of politics, of, of philosophies and ideals and stuff like that.
Okay.
But still very, very interesting and very well done. So yeah, definitely worth checking that out. So I think that's, aside from working, that's all I've managed to fit in this week. So should we go on to talk about Bloodline?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so if you're watching Bloodline with us, then stop now and go and watch it and come back and watch it. Or if you've already watched it, just carry on. Or if you don't mind getting spoiled, just carry on. So this is episode 6.
Now, I watched it quite early in the week, so I'll let you...
Okay, so I only just watched it because I've only just had the time to do that. So at the end of episode 5, Lenny Potts, the investigator who worked on the case originally, gives Danny the the tapes.
Yes.
And Danny listens to the tapes, and John finds out that tapes are missing from the case file, and he's reading the transcript.
That's right.
And that's kind of where we pick up in this episode, with them both still doing that. And John, reliving that in his head. And Danny sitting with this girl in the car listening to it. And she's the girl that was on the bus with him when he very first arrived in the first episode.
Right, okay.
And who is she? It's really weird.
Yeah.
Because she carried on the bus when he got off.
Right, yeah.
But she's now back with him in that car listening to this thing. Now, I wonder, and this is probably quite out there, but I'm wondering if that's the dead sister in Danny's head.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? Right? I first thought that, is it the sister? Did she actually die? Or did she go away? Then I was like, okay, no, everything points that she did die.
Yeah.
And then I thought that would be really interesting. But then, was there a moment where John said, "What are you doing here?" I thought he said, "What are you doing here?" to the girl. But he could have said, "What are you doing here?" to Danny. There's a moment where...
Which moment's this? When does John say that?
Do you know what? I watched it anyway. So actually, that could be in Danny's imagination when he goes in the drug.
Yeah.
So
I think he refers to her
in the
drug fueled hallucination.
I think I could see that.
I think that's what's happening there. So anyway, we now know that both Danny knows this and John knows this, and we're getting more of an insight into what happened there. Basically, these cassettes reveal that they covered up the fact that the father attacked Danny. And injured him, and they played it off as a car crash. Then we go and see what else happens here. There's some stuff with the younger brother He finds out, he goes to leave a note for his ex-wife to say thanks for letting me stay over, and then foolishly opens her laptop. And obviously, when you do online dating, you're just going to leave your profile open on the laptop, and he sees that she's got a profile, and then sees that she's going on a date with someone, and then he goes and stalks her.
Yeah.
And then he realises at that point, I think he gets angry, but he does for the first time ever in this series.
Got clarity.
He does a good job of actually managing his anger instead of just exploding, and then goes and gives her back his keys and says, "It's taken me a long time, but I get it.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm always going to love you, but that's that." Anyway, so Danny, having made this awful discovery then that he's basically been betrayed by his brother, asks for some time off from the mother, and then goes on. He says, "Can I have a couple of days off? I want to drive down to Key West and have a chill out there."
Yeah.
Goes to his friend, picks up a load of coke.
There's a massive bender.
And goes on a huge coke bender. At one point, he basically gets scammed for all of his coke by this young couple at this sort of young bar that he's at. And he has a real kind of freak out, gets himself beaten up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. He wants that to happen. No, he definitely wants that to happen.
Someone just having a drink at the bar and he's just making comments to him. This guy's like, leave it. And Danny wants to get... It's like he wants to get punished.
I know, he definitely does.
He wants to get punished. No, so basically he just... The guy was like punching and then Danny would get up and say something again. The guy's like, really?
Yeah.
And he'd do it
But that guy's a dick for doing that, though.
Oh, he is a dick.
Because that guy, Danny's clearly off his face.
Yeah.
And clearly there's something wrong with him to keep doing that. And that guy's huge.
There are people like that in the world, though, so it's kind of
I guess. It's kind of like you don't need to prove that you can beat up Danny, who is essentially like a skinny little guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it that he's offending you and he's calling your drink feminine and whatever, but do you know what I mean? Like, leave it.
But then he kind of, like, he's got a friend which is the sister of his friend.
Yeah.
So, like, they're kind of in an on-off thing.
Yeah, they kind of fool around a bit.
Yeah, and then she comes to help him, and then he's like, get out. But, you can...
He says to her, "You mean less than nothing to me."
And I think that's because he wants to punish himself.
Yeah,
that's
I think that is that.
From the puns, getting beaten up to that, and to just the drugs, he wants to just kind of cane.
So then he's, like, wandering down the road and...
gets picked up by a stranger.
Picked up by a stranger, which I think, if it wasn't for the flashback earlier in the season, I think I would have been worried about him.
Yeah.
If I hadn't seen that he still has to be okay for this thing to happen later, I would have been worried for his safety.
Yeah.
And this guy that picks him up is of a similar mind.
Yeah.
Because they're at some kind of like squat or yard party, just smoking crack or meth, basically.
And I think it looks like it's the first time he's done it, and he wasn't sure.
Yeah, he wasn't sure what it was, and he's like, "Yep, that'll do it." But then So as he's smoking though, and he says, "Yeah, that'll do it." He's clearly getting very high, and then all these bright lights come on, sirens. The police come and raid the place that they're in.
Yeah.
And John just grabs Danny, drags him inside, and says, "What are you doing? Think about the family." And then he's like, "Oh, Dad's dead now anyway, so what do you care?" And they end up having a fight, and somehow Danny gets John's gun and ends up pointing it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then that girl appears again,
and that's when he says, "What are you doing here?"
He says, "Who's she?"
Yeah.
And Danny says, "She's with me."
Yeah.
She's always been with me.
Yes, I think you're right. I think
that's his. So
okay.
And then though they have this argument, and John says, "We weren't doing it to protect Dad." He says, "Oh, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Are you feeling sorry for yourself just because your family told a fib about you?"
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, that is harsh.
Yeah.
And he said, "We weren't doing it to protect Dad. We were doing it to protect you, because if they investigated Dad, they'd investigated her drowning, her death."
Yeah.
And he says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, what would they have found out then?" And he's like, "It's an accident." He went, "Don't keep trying to kid yourself, Danny."
That's it. Yeah.
So then at that point, Danny grabs the gun and he's threatening to shoot John.
Yeah.
And the girl says to him, "Okay,
you've got to choose.
You've got to choose. Is it them or you? Is it them or you?" So Danny points a gun at his own head, and John's trying to disarm him still, like talk him down. And then Danny shoots himself. And at that point, we realise it's a hallucination.
Yeah.
And that really pissed me off.
But it set a really interesting tone. I think this episode is up the level where I'm actually interested to watch it now.
Okay.
I don't think I was that at any point.
Yeah.
Right, because I couldn't quite remember that. But as you described it, I'm remembering it. I think for me, this is the episode where I go, this is the point where I want to watch it now.
Okay.
Whereas if I hadn't got to that, I think I would not be watching it if we weren't doing this.
Yeah.
But now, if we weren't, I would still watch it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's added a big extra dimension to it. You got inside Danny's head, which is the first time we've had that.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's such a lazy way of doing that, though. It's so clunky.
It is.
It really, really annoyed me that they've done that. Because basically the whole function of that sequence is to let us know that Danny feels guilty about the death of his sister.
That's the whole episode. That's
Exactly. Yeah, that he feels guilty about that. We still don't have the facts about what happened.
No.
We know it's a drowning.
Yeah.
But that's it. We don't know. So and then there's the other thing was that John's investigation into that body is carrying on.
Yeah.
And he goes and speaks to a survivor from a similar case.
That's right.
And she talks about, that they were going to be burned alive. They were being threatened with being burned alive in this boat, which is awful.
Yeah.
And she's really distressed by it. So there's quite a lot. It's still quite slow, but there's quite a lot going on here. Meg's taken that case. Yeah. And then she tries to ask her boyfriend to marry him.
Yeah.
To ask her to marry him.
And he was like, "No, you're not ready."
Yeah, which is fair play to him for that.
But then
really.
I think she's obviously going to go back to have a bloke as well.
Yeah, I think so.
She's going because she saw the guy that she'd been having an affair with.
Yeah.
She
told him that she's all grown up now.
Yeah, and she's like, "You don't know you call me."
Yeah.
And then he was just like, oh, "Okay." So then he was getting into his car and she followed him.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "I didn't think I was meant to talk to you."
Yeah.
So you can just tell that she's going to.
Yeah, I think she will. I think she's going to do that. Yeah.
And she's. I think. You're going to find out more about her and how she's been because she's quiet. Nothing's really. You don't know too much about her.
No, but we know that she's been overlooked as the golden child.
Yeah.
By she's been overshadowed by the memory of her sister.
You'll never be her.
Yeah,
that's right.
What the weird thing was when John's talking to the detective Lenny Potts.
Yeah.
He talks about the mum not being there,
and he said they thought that was weird.
Yeah, but they don't make any more of that really.
And
I thought that was strange to put that in there.
Yeah.
That must be pointing at something.
Yeah.
Something's gone on there. Something more. So yeah, pretty good episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Got really annoyed by the hallucination sequence. Enjoyed getting that information though.
Yeah.
But I wish they could have done that in a different way. I felt quite bad for his mate's sister when he was just being awful to her. And she just turned up to basically try and get him home.
It's that self-destructive thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that's what it is. We basically saw the cause at the beginning of the episode and then the effect through the whole episode. So, yeah, pretty good. Looking forward to next week's. Hopefully I won't leave it till about 10 minutes before we start doing this. So.
I may watch it this weekend, actually.
Yeah, I might try and put it in.
So I quite want to watch it now. Whereas every time I've gone to put it on, it's been a bit like, I should probably do this. I should probably watch this. Now, I think this is the first time where I'm going to go, okay, I want to see what happens. Yeah, and I am quite interested.
But I'm quite expecting the next episode to be a lull.
Yeah.
Because they're really, really burning us with the pacing here. They're really kind of like dragging.
I think something.
I wouldn't want them to be a dentist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors.
That is great. I'm going to put that up on our Facebook page. That's a great scene.
Yes,
it is. That's a great scene. And Bill Murray.
He's fantastic in that.
Bill Murray is just.
Well, he's brilliant anyway, but he's particularly brilliant there, yeah.
Check out Facebook, we're going to put that up.
So I think that's it.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you can follow us on @HelloNotDeadYet.
Facebook, Hello Not Dead Yet.
And email hellonotdeadyet@gmail.com.
Spotify, Hello Not Dead Yet with underscores in between each word.
Okay.
See where we're going with this.
And subscribe somewhere around this video.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.